Excuse me, I lost my friend Clive. May I please make an announcement? Sure. Goodbye, you little shit.
Who guessed it? Today, we're going to look at the peasant-hating knight from Sofia, Fernand. Fernand is an enemy unit in Shadows of Valentia, so he isn't playable in the main game. Even without supports, there's still many things we can look at to see how Fernand is really like. Before becoming spiteful to commoners and becoming Berkut's lapdog, he was a noble knight of Sofia that swore to protect the people and was Clive's sworn brother. In fact, Clive and Fernand's families were close for a long time, so they both grew up together and considered each other brothers. A memory prism with Fernand and Matilda shows just how close they are. Matilda is trying to find Clive and asks Fernand where he is. As Fernand looks kind of upset, he tells her that he isn't always with Clive and says that that's all she asks about. Matilda notices this and tells him that she likes the stories Fernand tells about Clive, as Clive only tells stories about him that Matilda thinks she wants to hear. Reassured, Fernand begins telling Matilda stories on how Clive was a troublemaker when they were young. Matilda is amazed that Fernand knows more about Clive than she does and is grateful for him for sharing his stories. She also mentions how he lights up when he talks about Clive and says that he can see that Fernand looks happy when talking about him. This memory prism solidifies Fernand's bromance with Clive and shows how long they've known each other. This also shows how much he values his friends by promising Matilda to show her the farm he and Clive grew up in. While Fernand, during the events of Shadows of Valentia, hated every single commoner's guts, he wasn't like that before. In fact, he swore to protect them. In another memory prism between Clive and Fernand, Fernand is excited to become a Knight of Sofia. Much to Clive's surprise, he greets his friend with open arms. Fernand and Clive have a friendly conversation until Clive mentions Desai's rising power worries him. The two of them also discuss Mycen and how he should have stayed before being kicked by Desai. But what really makes this more interesting is that Fernand agrees with Clive about protecting and serving the people of Sofia. Fernand wasn't afraid to speak his mind on things that didn't follow his morals. In the memory prism between Clive and Fernand, he calls the king a laughingstock for letting his children supposedly die in the fire. Another example would be with Slade's behavior during the Battle of Sofia Harbor. Fernand wasn't afraid to call him a coward for his actions. In short, Fernand was a noble Sofian knight that cares about his friends and family. He puts the safety of the people of Sofia above all else, since that is his duty as a nobleman. But if he was so noble, then why is he a dick during the main game? Well, the truth may shock you. Or not, since most of you already played Shadows of Valentia. Maybe.
I saw you hanging out with commoners yesterday.
Fernand! It's not what you think!
I won't hesitate, bitch!
Fernand, along with Matilda and Claire, assisted Clive to form the Deliverance to free Sofia from his tyranny, but they were still not enough to stand up against Desai, so in desperation, Clive resorted to let anybody join the Deliverance, regardless of their social status, like Python, Lucas, and Forsyth. Shortly before the siege of Sofia Castle, a fate worse than death befell on Fernand. A long drought befell on Sofia due to Milla becoming absent from her shrine. The land became barren, and the peasants living around Fernand's manor blamed him and his family for not using their wealth to provide for the community. The commoners believed that they were withholding supplies for themselves rather than sharing it, and in their desperation, they stormed his villa and attacked everyone inside. Unfortunately, Fernand was the only one left alive after the attack. Because of the attack, Fernand became distant. He wouldn't even speak to Clive or the others, and snapped at them for trying to comfort him, saying that he didn't need pity. The way he was now made Clive and Claire worried about him, and Claire describes Fernand's situation perfectly.
It's as if the Fernand we knew died along with them, and I want him back.
During the siege of Sofia Castle, the Deliverance was surrounded by Rigel as they entered the scene. With Lucas's plan, they managed to escape using Rigelian hostages. This didn't sit well with Fernand, and he insulted him for it and pointed out that he's just a commoner. This drove a wedge between Clive and Fernand's bromance, as he believed that Lucas was Clive's new confidant now. His anger towards commoners was only getting deeper from here on out. As we delve into the events of Shadows of Valentia, Alm introduces himself to Deliverance. At first, Fernand believed that Lucas would bring Mycin, but when he sees Alm, he isn't too impressed with him. But little does he know that Clive asked Alm to lead the Deliverance. He believed that he would make a great leader due to the Deliverance being more soldiers being born from villages rather than being nobles. This became the final nail in the coffin for Fernand. First, he loses his family to the commoners. Then, people from villages become friends with the man he was so close to that he considered him as a brother. Then now, he must take orders from one? Fernand had enough. The Sophia he knew was gone, so he left out in a burst of rage. Everything wasn't the same anymore. The only thing you have when you lose everything is your pride. And with his pride, Fernand says that
I would rather die than kneel to some whelp who was birthed in the hay. Today, we part ways for good and all. I am finished with you and your deliverance. Farewell.
now the only thing he must do now is return himself to Desai. This is when Fernand meets someone with just as much pride as he does.
Killing me! Get the fuck out of my room! I'm playing Minecraft!
Yes, you know him very well. The nephew of the Emperor Rudolph himself, Berkut. Berkut shares the same ideals as Fernand, which makes Fernand jump for joy as he meets his new daddy. Lord?
Hey, Darren. What's up, bitch? Stop. Bitch.
Now serving under Berkut, Fernand has cut ties to the Deliverance once and for all. This will cause him to regret his actions, but we'll dive into that a little later. The next time he'll meet his old friend Clive is on the battlefield, lance to lance. Now, he has become a real villain under the Regalian army, as he betrays all the people he loved, just because he's a noble. And nobles don't follow orders from common peasants. He knows the truth about Alm not being Mycin's grandson and mocks Clive for it. I believe he did that just to piss him off. He even proclaims that Berkut will unite all of Valentia together under one new nation. I believe he does this out of spite more than anything, as he believes he serves an army worthy of his status as a noble. Not going to lie though, he's very easy to beat the first time. He regroups with Berkut when you beat him, as he is not with him when you fight him for the first time. The second time you meet him in battle, he is with Berkut and some other guy that's just there. And in this battle, you beat them both. Before he leaves the Regal though, they stop to see Matilda. Their reunion is not like the conversations they had when they were friends. This time, Fernand is cold towards her as he tells her of his betrayal. The light that Matilda once saw inside Fernand has now dimmed out as he criticizes the same people that he swore to protect. The Fernand she once knew is truly dead and gone. Despite her pleas, Fernand confesses something to Matilda.
With you by my side, I might have chosen differently.
This begs the question, was Fernand secretly in love with Matilda? We know in a memory prism between him and Claire that Fernand actually likes girls that are extra thin! And you know, Matilda's just like an orange, so full and ripe.
In the name of Sophia!
Okay. Jeez, I'll stop now, okay? Gosh, man. When in Regal, Fernand starts to see how desperate Berkut is becoming to defeat Alm, as he uses the mirror Alibaba gives him to retreat once again. Seeing how Berkut throws away his pride by using Duma's magic just to defeat a commoner disgusted Fernand. Was his hate for commoners so strong that he will resort to using Duma's wicked power to stop him entirely? This was just the beginning of the end for Fernand. In Act 5, Berkut was driven to the point of madness as he submits to Duma and sacrifices Renea for more power. As Fernand comes in, he is mortified on what he has witnessed. The man he believed that would unite all of Valentia is now turned into a monster. It's kind of ironic when you compare it to Fernand's situation though, because Berkut is basically an exaggerated version of what Fernand went through. They both lost everything, so why not betray the people you love? Even though Berkut lost more than just his pride. Regardless though, he is chased and attacked by the now super hot Renea. Oh god, kill me. Now, the last chapter of Fernand's story begins, as he finds Clive and the others while being mortally wounded. In the end, Fernand can only blame himself for his actions alone. His pride blinded his judgment, as he took out his anger and frustration out on the masses. He remembers his oath he took as a knight, and believes he has failed his duty to do so. The most important part here is that he realizes that he couldn't be redeemed for his actions. Despite everything he's done though, Clive has always forgave him in the past, and this time, it was no different. This signifies that Clive always thought Fernand as a friend, even though he betrayed him, and it was all thanks to Alm. With his dying breath, he tells Clive that he is proud of him, and thus, Fernand dies without being redeemed in the end. Because the act of redemption means that you were saved from something. Fernand couldn't save himself in the end. He couldn't save himself from the hole he dug up, and ultimately paid the price with his life. The true tragedy of his character is that he becomes a casualty to the gods, as they were no longer sane enough to rule the land. And thus, Fernand and many others suffered because of it. I believe he could have been saved and redeemed if he lived, as Clive and even Alm were so quick to forgive him. I also believe that Fernand is really overlooked as a character, mostly due to Berkut being more fleshed out during the story, as he gets more screen time. The rise of the Deliverance Pack is the only way you can really see Fernand's character being laid out to you, instead of just being told that he was always a good person before. Without it, you just think he was an asshole just for the sake of being an asshole. But in fact, he wasn't like that before. The world changed him. It really sucks that you have to pay to see a character's development, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. I really like Fernand. His character is very tragic to me, as I see him as a good man that slowly becomes rotten alongside the world around him. Alright guys, I know it's been a long time since I've made one of these videos. It's just I've been really busy with life, as you know, but my next video will probably be about Berkut, and yeah, to make the tragedy of trios, or is it the other way around? No, the Trinity of Tragedy is what I called Faye, Fernand, and Berkut of Shadows of Valentia. I'm really trying to get used to talking to a microphone, because I feel like a crazy person talking to myself in this dark room. But yeah, if you guys want to see more videos like these, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. It really helps me out, you guys. And yeah, I'm talking without a script, and my voice kind of sounds like, well, in my voice it sounds like a robot, because I am a robot. Okay, this is like a really awkward outro, but yeah. So yeah, see ya guys. It's always awkward saying goodbye to people I can't see. So yeah, bye. Fernand should be put in the heroes. I don't care if he sucks. I don't care that he's not popular. Please, intelligence systems, just put Fernand in there. Clive deserves it. He went through so many things. He's the most human character in Fire Emblem. Come on, just have his best friend in there. He didn't deserve this.